How you doing? Welcome to another episode of Bird Songs, everybody. Coming at you today with a different video today, something that's off the grain, but something I think is very relevant to talk about. And that is never, ever tell anybody about your plans. I think it's very important I had to make this video because I think a lot of people need to know this. Sometimes you don't do it consciously. You just talk and you're just talking and you're really not really thinking about what you're doing. But for me, it's been bad luck for me to tell people things that I have planned, things that I'm going to do. It's like when I bought my house. Right in the 11th hour of the underwriting, like a day or so before I was getting ready to close on my house, something came up. They found out that I owed some taxes, and you can't close on a house if you owe taxes. It took me 8 more months to buy the house that I was going to get. Luckily, my friends owned it, and they were able to hold the house. But if I had told everybody about that, I'd have just been, just embarrassed to look at people because of what happened in the 11th hour. So like I said, right there, you should watch what you're doing. With your health, I think it's important not to tell people about your health. People make assumptions, people do this. And just think if you went through what I went through with that underwriting. Maybe what if the underwriter knew you? What if the person at the car dealership knows, or somebody that knows you or whatever? They may not give you a loan because of your health. They may be scared. Sometimes they make you take out life insurance, anything like that before they give you a loan. And sometimes people make assumptions over you because of your health. I remember during COVID, I told people, no, I didn't get the COVID shot. They couldn't believe that I didn't get the COVID shot. People were like, either you get the shot or you don't. And people that didn't get the shot, oh my God, they looked at you like you were just, oh my God, he didn't get the shot. Right? And I talked to my doctor about it, and he said, no, I'm not going to get the shot either. I said, why? He said, I just don't know enough about it yet. And here it was my doctor. He didn't even get his COVID vaccination. And I was thinking like, man, okay, that's fine because I'm not doing it. My wife did it. My kids did it. The next thing I want to talk about is when you're planning things. Just think if you want to open a boutique, right? And then the girl said, no, you shouldn't open a boutique. My friend had a boutique and it didn't work. My cousin had a boutique and she went out of business within 6 months. That doesn't mean that your boutique is going to go out in 6 months. Maybe you have a great plan. Maybe you're just going to sell plus-size jeans. Maybe you're going to go to people's houses. Maybe you're going to be the first mobile boutique. Whatever, right? If you'd let someone steal that plan, you wouldn't be where you are today. Finances, I think, are so important. You see those guys that they got, just money all up in here. $100 bills, they all on Facebook, they all on TikTok. They got the racks up to their ears. You're showing your hand too much. You should never do that. You ever heard of the millionaire next door? That person was so quiet you never would have known they were a millionaire. Imagine if you win the lottery. Imagine if you won $1 million, right? That is all over the news. That's all in the newspapers. Your whole business is in the public eye. Now here you have cousins. Here you have people that's coming out of the woodwork, right, to be around you because they know what you're worth now. Never let people know what you're worth, ever. I think it's so important. If you're getting ready, you know how many guys got killed in the hood because they were getting ready to go to this famous college. They had a scholarship, this and that, whatever. Somebody hated on them and killed them in the project, in the hood, because people know too much about you, right? So it's so important. I have friends, they say, oh, we just closed on an apartment building. I'm like, what? They do this every time. They own 7, 8 different properties, and you don't ever know what they're doing until it's done, until they closed on the deal. They say, yeah, we just closed yesterday on an 8 unit. You're like, when did they even apply for an 8 unit? So remember that. Never let anybody steal your dreams, and never let anybody know about your plans. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.